My name is Jessie Bryant, Chief Marketing Officer at JIFU. I'm coming at you with another Hot 5 today, and this one impacts everyone who lives in the United States. It's all about Real ID. Now, for more Hot 5s, make sure you're subscribing to the JIFU Life YouTube or follow us anywhere we are on social. You're not going to want to miss the updates we have coming your way. All right, for today's Hot 5, my number one hot tip for Real ID. Did you know that coming 2020, it will bring big traveler ID requirement changes to the United States? Your friends at JIFU want to make sure your trip isn't grounded before you even get to the gate. Hot tip number 2. October 1st, 2020 is the deadline to make sure your driver's license is compliant with the United States' new Real ID standards. Similar to TSA Pre, Real ID is basically confirmed identification of who you are and, most importantly, what state you live in. Now a required part of the boarding process, but will also be a requirement to access any federal buildings or the nuclear power plant that's in your neighborhood. You never know. All right, but in all seriousness, those failing to provide a Real ID or a government issue passport at the gate come October will not be allowed to proceed through the security checkpoint. No flight for you. All right, hot tip number 3. If you are one of the millions of travelers who has not already applied and received a Real ID compliant license, as of October 1st, you will not be allowed to be boarded. You will have to bring some other form of identification. So yes, that could be your passport. There's another list of other documents that are available. Those are all on the Homeland Security website, and you can check those out as well. Now, this just applies to those of us above the age of 18, which I barely scrape by. So youth are not required to bring a Real ID on board, just those above the age of 18. Hot tip number 4. Each state will be handling this new policy differently, so check your local DMV office for requirements to obtain this new level of license. Most will require all the documents that you probably are thinking of: birth certificate, social security numbers, proof of your legal name, but most importantly, now required is proof of residency for the state that you're applying that driver's license for. So according to Department of Homeland Security, we will actually need 2 forms of identification at a minimum. So this could be a mortgage statement, bank statement, utility bill, something showing your full name. But again, my suggestion is to check with your state's office to make sure that you have all the required documentation before going in. And you can know if you've got an approved license by identifying a star or some symbolic star representation in the upper right-hand corner of your license. All right, my last tip, number 5 on the Real ID, is to make that appointment sooner than later. With tens of millions of travelers still needing to go through this process, you know the closer it gets to October, the crazier it's going to be to try to get in the office and get that approved license. Don't get grounded in 2020. Prepare for Real ID now. This is your public service announcement from your friends at JIFU, and we'll see you on the next Hot 5.